welcome to the room of requirement. This is the final video in a 6-part series that I have been doing on the history of Magick and Esotericism. If you haven't seen the rest of them, I suggest going and checking those out. But today I'm going to be covering the modern era of esotericism and the contemporary path. So let's go ahead and dive in. The Golden Dawn, Crowley, psychology, chaos magic, and the fragmentation of the tradition. As the 19th century gave way to the modern era, the structures established by secret societies, occult revivalists, and esoteric philosophers began to crystallize into fully developed systems of practice. Between roughly 1880 to the present, magic entered a new phase, one defined by both unprecedented accessibility and profound fragmentation. The ancient currents, once unified in temple systems, would now be reassembled, distributed, interpreted, and, at times, diluted across a rapidly changing world. Culturally, this period was shaped by industrialization, scientific advancement, global communication, and the gradual decline of traditional religious authority in many parts of the West. At the same time, there was a growing hunger for meaning beyond materialism. Esotericism did not vanish into the face of modernity. It adapted, expanded, and diversified, finding new forms through which to express itself. One of the most pivotal developments of this era is the formation of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn in 1888. This order represents one of the most comprehensive syntheses of esoteric knowledge ever assembled. Drawing from Kabbalah, Hermeticism, astrology, alchemy, Egyptian symbolism, and Renaissance magic, the Golden Dawn created a structured system of initiation, ritual, and study that formalized what had previously been scattered across cultures. The types of magic practiced within the Golden Dawn include ceremonial magic, elemental work, planetary invocation, path working on the Tree of Life, scrying, and structured ritual systems such as the pentagram and hexagram rituals. These practices were not isolated techniques. They were part of a cohesive initiatory path designed to systematically transform the practitioner. This is one of the clearest modern expressions of what ancient magic always was: a complete system, not a collection of disconnected practices. Many of the rituals widely practiced today, such as the LBRP, hexagram work, elemental balancing, and structured invocation, come directly from Golden Dawn teachings. Even practitioners who have never studied the order formally are often working within frameworks it helped establish. Without this system, modern ceremonial magic would lack cohesion and structure. From within and beyond the Golden Dawn emerged one of the most influential and controversial figures in modern esotericism, Aleister Crowley, who lived from 1875 to 1947. Crowley developed the system of Thelema, centered on the principle of discovering and enhancing one's true will, the unique path aligned with one's deepest nature and purpose. Crowley's contributions include the expansion of ritual magic, the integration of Eastern practices such as yoga and meditation, the emphasis on personal experience over blind adherence, and the systemization of magic as a lifelong path of self-realization. The types of magic practiced within Thelema include ceremonial invocation, sex magic, meditation, astral work, and the disciplined exploration of consciousness. While often misunderstood or sensationalized, Crowley's influence is undeniable. He represents a turning point where magic becomes explicitly individualized. The practitioner is no longer only aligning with cosmic order, they are discovering their place within it, actively shaping their path. This shift toward personal sovereignty continues to define modern esoteric work. As the 20th century progressed, another transformation occurred: the merging of esotericism with psychology. Figures like Carl Jung, while not an occultist in a traditional sense, introduced concepts such as archetypes, the unconscious, and individuation, ideas that parallel ancient esoteric principles. The language changes, but the structure remains. The alchemical process becomes psychological transformation. The descent into the underworld becomes shadow work. The archetypal gods become symbolic forces within the psyche. This integration gave rise to forms of practice that are less overtly ritualistic, but deeply esoteric in structure. The types of magic practice here include visualization, archetypal work, dream analysis, and internal symbolic transformation. These methods are now widespread, often without being recognized as magical in origin. Yet their roots trace directly back to ancient and medieval systems of transformation. By the late 20th century, we see the emergence of chaos magic, a movement that rejects rigid structure in favor of adaptability and direct results. Practitioners of chaos magic emphasize belief as a tool, using symbols, systems, and techniques flexibly rather than adhering to a single tradition. The types of magic practiced include sigil work, paradigm shifting, improvisational ritual, and psychological manipulation of belief systems. Chaos magic reflects both the strength and the challenges of the modern era. It demonstrates that magic is not confined to one system, but it also contributes to fragmentation. Without structure, depth can be lost. Without lineage, context can dissolve, and this tension defines much of modern spirituality. At the same time, the rise of the New Age movement, circa 1970s to present, brought esoteric ideas into mainstream awareness. Concepts such as energy, manifestation, chakras, and spiritual awakening became widely accessible. While this democratization allowed more people to engage with esoteric ideas, it often stripped them of their depth, discipline, and historical context. This is where we arrive in the present moment. Today, magic exists in many forms. Ceremonial systems rooted in the Golden Dawn, thelemic practice, witchcraft traditions, chaos magic, and psychological frameworks, and also modern spiritual movements. Never before has so much information been so widely available, and yet rarely has it been so fragmented. What remains constant, what has endured from Sumer to Egypt, from Greece to the Renaissance, from hidden manuscripts to modern systems, is this: magic is the art of aligning with unseen forces through knowledge, discipline, and transformation. The tools may change and the language may shift, but the current always remains the same. From the temples of Sumer, circa 4000 BCE, where priests read the stars and spoke incantations to protect their cities, to the sacred orders of Egypt, where Heka was used to maintain cosmic balance and guide the soul beyond death, magic began as a living force at the center of civilization itself. It evolved in Greece, circa 1600 to 300 BCE, where philosophers revealed that reality is structured, layered, and intelligible, that the cosmos operates through hidden principles that can be studied and embodied. It deepened in Alexandria circa 200 BCE to 300 CE, where Hermeticism, astrology, and initiatory traditions merged into systems that directly shaped Western esotericism. It was preserved through the medieval world circa 500 to 1500 CE, hidden within Kabbalah, Islamic occult sciences, angelic systems, and early grimoires, protected, encoded, and carried forward through those who understood its value. It was reborn in the Renaissance circa 1400 to 1600 CE, where scholars reassembled ancient knowledge into structured systems of magic, alchemy, and philosophy, creating the foundation of modern practice. It was organized in the era of secret societies, circa 1600 to 1900 CE, where initiatory orders preserved, refined, and transmitted these teachings through symbolism, ritual, and progressive revelation. And finally, it emerged into the modern era, circa 1880 to present, structured, expanded, fragmented, and more accessible, yet still carrying the same current that began thousands of years ago. What you practice today is not new. Every ritual you perform, every symbol you trace, every name you vibrate, every moment you seek alignment, clarity, and transformation stands upon thousands of years of human effort to understand the unseen. You are not separate from this lineage. You are an extension of it. The ancient priest watching the stars, the Egyptian initiate speaking words of power, the philosopher contemplating the nature of reality, the mystic preserving hidden knowledge in coded text, the Renaissance magus aligning with planetary forces, the initiate stepping through degrees of transformation. All of them are part of the same current that flows through modern practice. To study magic is not to learn something new. It is remembered as something ancient. And the deeper one goes, the more it becomes clear. This path is not simply about power, knowledge, or technique. It is about participation in the living structure of reality itself. This history is not behind you. It is beneath you, and it is within you, and it is what makes the work possible at all. And if you follow it far enough, it does not end, it opens. Okay, you guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this entire series. If this is the first one you're coming across, go check them out. There's 6. This is the final one. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you guys for being here and supporting me. It really means the world to me, and I don't take that for granted at all. And I wanted to welcome all the new subscribers and acknowledge all the ones that have been there for quite some time. You guys keep me going. You make all this possible, and I'm really enjoying doing this. So again, thank you guys very much. And thank you guys for asking questions and telling me your thoughts. I love that. I love interacting with you guys. One thing I appreciate about this channel is, you know, how tight-knit it is, and it's a smaller channel, so I'm able to interact with you guys, you know, on a really deep level and guide. And that's exactly what I want to be doing. Okay, so I'm tossing around a few more ideas about what I'm going to be doing. So I think that I'm going to be maybe getting into some astrology again, maybe esoteric astrology, maybe talking about the precession of the equinoxes and the different eras, and getting into the history of that. And then I'm tossing around some ideas about psychology and esoteric practice and how that ties in. Because people often hear that a lot. You know, we talk about Jungian psychology a lot, but we really don't get into the depths of, you know, the psychology of practicing high magic, or the psychology of meditation or shadow work, of all of that. So I think I'm going to be doing those 2 subjects. So, okay, you guys, I will see you guys next time. Bye.